So, test drive delivered for us yesterday over on Hong Kong Island with 3 absolutely fantastic races, and it poses the same possibilities here today. We're over on Ibiza, and we've not bought just one new car, we've bought 2 for the live weekly events that we've now got over here on Ibiza, of course, with Season 3 for anybody that has maybe been stepping away from the game, doesn't quite understand what's going on now. With the new live weekly events, we don't only have these events now on the Hong Kong Island map, we've also got them here in Ibiza, guys, and we've had to buy new vehicles for today's races. Of course, you guys can see straight off the back, this is a car that's new to the channel. If you've been a long-term viewer of the channel, thank you very much for the continued support. But yeah, we have to go buy a Porsche 911 Coupe for one of today's races. We'll get into the second car shortly, but first of all, we're going to head on over here to Cavallino versus Stuttgarter, a 2.9 mile dry circuit race in the 911 or the Dino 246 GTS. Now, the price comparison between both vehicles, for me, it was an easy choice. 500,000 for the 911 or 1.5 million for the 246 Dino. It looks like these are going to be for one race to start off with. I might regret that in time, but I've went with the Porsche 911 Coupe. So what I have done for today's race, guys, I have of course went and bought the 911, but more importantly, I have bought every upgrade possible for this one. I spent a little bit of time last night with today's 2 vehicles, bought them, fitted all the parts of them, and built a quick tune. It's probably not a perfect tune, but yeah, I spent a little bit of time last night, enjoyed the 2 cars that we have bought. The 911 first of all here, put a little bit of a tune together, balancing the car how I would personally like to see this one handle. Yeah, from the tune I kind of put together last night, it does feel pretty good. We're probably not going to be hyper competitive today, but we're going to give it a bit of a shot again, giving it a little bit of a live com to see how we kind of get on with this one. Already we can see the Porsche 911 is a very good car. It should come as no surprise. Porsches are some of my favourite cars ever made. So yeah, I might be a little bit biased there, but the 911 is going to be sublime for this race. Already leaving the rest of the AI behind, it is still a problem in this game. I'll cover that one off first of all, but the AI do not rank their cars up or tune their cars according to how we tune our cars, so we're going to have a huge advantage over the AI. But nonetheless, the race itself, it's an Ibiza race, we know it's going to be good. There's going to be plenty of shortcuts here with a little bit more concentration. We probably find those shortcuts a little bit better, we probably actually manage the race itself a little bit better. You're not doing the best of jobs so far, but that's the sacrifice I'm making for doing the live com alongside of this one. The tune I've kind of put here, you know, it's to get maximum acceleration for me out of the Porsche. We know it's not going to be long sustained periods of, you know, revving this thing to the moon and, you know, trying to get as much speed as we can. I feel like this is going to be more focused towards getting around this circuit, or this sprint rather, as quickly as we possibly can. Hopefully as tidy as we can. But so far I don't feel like we're doing too bad of a job. The Porsche itself, it is truly a fantastic car. I'm actually very happy that I've bought this. Again, the 240 Dino may be equally as good, but me being a Porsche guy, yeah, I had to take the 911. Came to the wrong side of the roundabout. We were at this section of the track last week for the weekly events, so we know what we're in store for up here. How's our tune going to handle all of this? We're cutting back on ourselves here, opposed to last week we carried on down the hill. Handbrake is very snatchy as well, which is always good. I don't mind a snatchy handbrake to help the car get around some of these tighter turns that we've got here. Gearbox, yep, a couple of tunes to the gearbox. You guys will see it does get through the gearbox very quickly, but that's kind of the way I wanted this one built. As we grab a little bit of grass there, yep, not having the best of races, unfortunately, but we do come away with a win, a nice easy win in the first race in the 911. Getting the 40th point on the board, obviously 4 races completed, guys. You mathematicians out there, of course, would have knew that already. But it's just 100 points. It's 2 attempts every race for this week's live weekly event to complete it off for the emote and the sticker. Nice and easy. With a hyper competitive leaderboard already, 2-minute 7s, 2-minute 8, 2-minute 12s. We're down there in a 2:25. We've got a lot of improvement to do. That's what I like about these events. You guys will know we will be revisiting this at some point, setting a competitive time, seeing where we can end up on this leaderboard, but it comes as no surprise. Asayunon and Pacuvius up at the top of leaderboard with those 2-minute 7 times. Rest assured, we will be back to try this race again. So the other vehicle we did have to buy for today's second race is of course the Ford F-150 Raptor, a car I've wanted for the longest time in game, now managed to buy it. And again, what I've done, guys, is I've put all of the upgrades applied to this one. I've actually built a little bit of a tune for this as well. However, this is not the second time I've had to record this little section. What I have done is made a huge error. When building the tune for this race, I didn't realise there was still an off-road section. I thought it was all an off-road, sorry, a track race, a road race. I had to go away and buy off-road tyres for Rough Rider Rally. A 2.6 mile domination, 36% asphalt, 64% gravel in the F-150, and I totally overlooked the fact that there was 64% gravel on this track. I've just went away, I have just put on the off-road suspension and the off-road tyres. So I did just quickly come in. I had one attempt at this one with the standard road tyres fitted and the track suspension. Don't do that, it doesn't handle well. It's like driving on ice. I would recommend having the off-road tyres fitted to it. So nonetheless, we'll come back into this one again. We'll give it another attempt in the F-150, starting at the back of the grid, which I don't mind. This is what I want to see if we have a more powerful vehicle. The way I see it, we should be starting at the back of the grid. Of course, the AI not upgrading like we are. God almighty, they're aggressive in this race. We just simply cannot catch a break to get past these guys nice and early, getting pushed wide at every possibility. I like it, this is the way it should be. However, the mapping of the AI, as always, holding them back through some of these corners. God, that got very dark, I couldn't see where I was going there. But we've managed to get to the head of the pack, that's fine as we push forward towards the off-road sections. Are we going to be a bit better? Yep, track mapping as always, no surprise there, hasn't been mapped properly to the track. Whilst we're on track, it flashes up that we're off the racing line essentially. That does need to be improved. However, with the off-road tyres now fitted, we have got a hell of a lot more off-road traction, guys. I did genuinely come in with a on-road build, so this thing was lowered, it was stiff, it had semi-slick tyres fitted. Don't try that off-road, it didn't work whatsoever. It was literally driving on ice. Off-road tyres are, of course, recommended, and I make a meal of that one. Let's quickly reset, get back onto the track. I need to concentrate more. This live chat over the top of racing is going to take a lot of getting used to. However, we'll push on. A little bit of a mistake there. Push through the little left-hander into a right-hander. Can we get stopped in time? We can. We can see this thing is now very loose, I would say, across the track. A lot of body roll, but it's kind of what we need. God almighty. Maybe a bit too much body roll, wouldn't it actually stabilise coming around the little chicane we had there. However, we'll persist. I'm not making a good attempt of today's races, guys. God. We'll be back. We will be back to make a better attempt, but with it being against the AI, of course, we're still going to win the race. It's not going to be a problem. This actually looks like it's going to be a great race when I manage to concentrate fully on this one. You guys know I love off-road racing, especially in this game. I think they've captured the off-road racing aspect of it fantastically well. What an interesting topic was actually in yesterday's video. People were talking about how they've captured the sense of speed in this game fantastically, and I would have to agree. I don't know if you guys have ever played the Isle of Man TT racing game, also made by Nacon, and that's essentially where that grasp of speed has came from. Fantastic touch. Again, we've actually just blasted through this race. We have, of course, won it. We got there. It wasn't clean, but we have got our 5th set of points, our 50th points on the board. So we're halfway there. We're going to go back and revisit all of these races and complete off the requirements for this week's live event to get the rewards. Wales quickly having a nod towards the leaderboard. Once again, Paku at the top of the leaderboard, 2 minutes 5, Christoph 2 minute 10, Lizard Guy 2:14, Veganosaurus 2:18. We're down there with a 2:25, so we've got to save around about 20 seconds in that race. I think that's almost doable. There is a lot of improvements that can be had there, so we will be back to revisit all of these races once again. But I am sure you guys will all agree, a fantastic selection of races we've had between Hong Kong Island and now the Ibiza races. Perhaps not making the best attempts, but I wanted to give live chat or live comms a bit of an attempt today. A lot of requests from it on the channel, so we'll give it a go. The races themselves haven't been as good, but perhaps it's a little bit more, you know, on point for you guys, if that's the right way to articulate that one. One thing I did kind of touch on there though was the Isle of Man TT game. Now that's also made by Nacon, and if you want to try and capture the sense of speed, motorbike racing on the Isle of Man 100% will fulfill that requirement. Now with Nacon obviously making that, they understand what's required with the likes of the graphics and the build of the game. Carrying that here into TDU, I would 100% agree with that thought process, that, you know, the sense of speed has well and truly been captured in game. you know, it's much better than the videos I've watched of the Crew Motorfest. I've never actually played the game in all honesty, but the sense of speed there just isn't there when you're doing 20 miles an hour or 150 miles an hour. It just doesn't have a separation with the way the actual world moves around you, so that is one massive plus to this game. Speaking of the Isle of Man TT, at the end of next month, guys, there may be a couple of videos missing, as I'm going to be at this year's Isle of Man TT. We're going away on the motorbikes for a week, so there might be a bit of downtime. Perhaps I just film some filler videos. I'll address that when we get to it, but that's something I am looking forward to. Back to this week's live weekly event, however. Fantastic selection of races, fantastic selection of cars, and it was absolutely fantastic to have no PR restrictions on any race this week. I like that. Now, perhaps not always, I would understand that it isn't always going to be there, but having a full weekly event with no PR restrictions, I think has been an absolute fresh breath of fresh air. Words are hard sometimes. I think it's been a breath of fresh air. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will agree. Going in with a max tuned up car has been a hell of a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm going to be revisiting all of this week's live races once again. I'll probably put those into a video, show the competitive times that I have managed on the leaderboard, guys. I do hope you have enjoyed today's video. I do thank you all for the continued watching and support. If you haven't done so already, please do leave up a little like, and of course, if you haven't, please guys, consider subscribing. Help grow the channel, and of course, stay tuned for more updates on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Ground.